Welcome back to part 2 of our conversation with Shri Suresh Prabhu. और आज हम उनसे बात करेंगे इंडिया के रिप्रेजेंटेशन एट ग्लोबल फोरम्स के बारे में, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर विजन के बारे में, यूथ एंड एम्प्लॉयमेंट के बारे में। तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं अपनी बातचीत सुरेश प्रभु जी के साथ। You've often said that power sector runs on technology than ideology. With the emerging technologies like renewables and wireless electricity, how do you think India's power sector is going to grow in, let's say, the next 25 years?
People were giving free power, saying this is my political ideology. So I said, you can give free power if you can generate free power.
Right.
Then you must develop technology which can generate free power. No cost power.
Right.
You can put no cost power technology, then you give it to them. So turbines and the generators work on technology, not on ideology. That was my analogy.
Okay.
But anyway, what point you are saying is absolutely right. Today we have a great opportunity. There are technologies which can actually, sequestration technologies, which can capture the carbon, which is the cause of the problem.
Right.
So like a thief is a problem. So what police will do? Go and catch him, right? And put him in the jail. So he's not outside, so he'll not do another theft. So if carbon is a problem, you capture him and keep him inside, either by use it immediately, it is carbon capture and usage, or store it under the underground, which in not my opinion is a good idea, but anyway, you can do that. So one is that technology. Secondly, renewables. In terms of quantity, that we have created huge capacity for renewables, but also in terms of efficiency, in terms of versatility. See, we have main solar is now done through solar PV, photovoltaic. Now the kind of material that goes into that, the efficiency of solar panels should be 15-16 has gone up considerably and likely to go up even more. Then concentrated solar power. So technology is definitely driving a big change in energy sector.
Right.
Not just power, but energy, because energy is a much bigger canvas than power, which is a smaller part. So technology is driving change, but of course, I was saying some technology we have to use carefully.
Right.
Because in fracking, for example, we use a lot of water, which again is a challenge for the world. And then again, the environmental issues you have to keep in mind, but balance it. Technology is a solution. Technology can be a problem. So balance it in such a huge wisdom of the human beings, which is good, which is bad, then go ahead.
As someone who's represented India on the global level at G7 and G20, how do you think India can use its position in global forums to shape a fairer world economic order that supports developing nations while also protecting our national interests?
Today, their realization has come that there is a significant change in the entire development of the world, and therefore we must capture that into reality. That's why G20 was born. But even then, we should strongly promote, which we are doing absolutely, thanks to Prime Minister Modi, is that multilaterally we should address some of these challenges. Not bipolarly or by involving few countries, even 20 countries, is not represent the whole world. So they may be 85% of the GDP.
Right.
But they are not all the countries of the world. So only 15% of GDP is outside G20. But there are maybe 85% of the countries are outside the G20.
Right.
So we have to, therefore, we must believe in making sure that multilateral agencies must be dealing with these issues. But they must be reformed also. Because multilateral, for example, United Nations is a multilateral agency. It's intergovernmental organization.
Right.
But it's not working as effectively as it should be. It actually has sometimes become ineffective, like the Security Council, which is supposed to maintain security of the world. But world has become more insecure. Since Security Council is supposed to be functioning every day. So I think we should therefore reform these institutions. And this new economic order, which you said is absolutely right, we have more disparity, income disparity in the world than ever before. You take the largest economy, US. In fact, some of the billionaires have added several hundred billions in the last few weeks. When more and more people are suffering because of their existence. That was the election actually. The US last president's election
Yes.
was fought on inflation because it was a cost of living crisis for many people,
Right.
even in Europe, everywhere. So just imagine, the poor are struggling, even in those countries, they are supposed to be rich countries. They are struggling to survive, and there are people who are adding billions in weeks.
Right.
So this is where the challenge of the new world economic order is going to come. How to bring in a sense of responsibility and some sort of empathy for those people who are nothing. And accumulation of wealth is never a bad idea. Creation of wealth is necessary, then only get accumulated. But so creation of wealth is necessary, and technology will drive that more. But disparity also should be addressed, and that's what should be the concern of all of us in the world.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree. So you're the Chancellor of Rishi Hood University, and you've been talking to the youth quite a bit lately. So my next question is, in your view, what policies are the most important to support the youth and to create more job opportunities?
So we must have a systemic institutional mechanism to understand what youth wants at that point of time, at that generation.
Okay.
We don't have that institutional mechanism. You can say, not only India, I'm talking about globally, and that's why there's so much of disconnect between the youth and the rest of the society. We must therefore develop an institutionalized mechanism to understand on an ongoing basis what is that change that they are seeking, what is that the life they want, and how to respond to that. That's one part. Secondly, what you said is extremely important, is a job.
Right.
See, the technology is going to be a big disruptor.
Right.
And the kind of technology we are having now is going to be a mega disruptor. And this will be a challenge for many people to adjust to that. Again, that will create some very islands of prosperity,
Right.
but huge disparity rest of the places. So we must therefore find out where are the jobs going to come for the youth. And the jobs, again, not the type of jobs that we offer them, but the type of job they want.
They want.
And that's why I was talking about understanding
Right.
their psyche better. So this is the challenge we have. Education, therefore, has to change. So education has to respond to this.
Right.
You cannot have one education for all. Education for all is a good idea, but not one education for all is a good idea.
Right.
So we must actually have a tailor-made education programs. How can we actually do that? And with this technology now, that can be an aid. With technology, you can make actually a tailor-made education program. If I understand what you want, and then I can find out of something which is suited to you.
Right.
And that was impossible earlier.
Right.
There's so much of big mass. How do you understand each other's, each person's priority? But that's possible today. So, like whether you can do a aptitude test, it's of a different kind.
Right.
The aptitude test again, it's become a cliche. It's very think about different forms. But this is possible. So today, education is on the crossroads. Whether it can actually cater to this increasing need of the people, or will continue to be only rudimentary, will continue to be only ritualistic, and I get a degree. And that's all. Is that what you want to give it to people, or you want to give it something more? That's a challenge. The youth are actually today an asset, but if you don't address them properly, would actually be they would be the biggest disruptor.
So it's been wonderful having this conversation with you. Now that we're at the fag end of this interview, I would want you to address any important issues that you've wanted to talk about, and maybe talk about the future of Bharat with our audience.
See, future of Bharat, when you talk about, there are many countries who talk about future because not necessarily they have a very glorious past like what we have.
Right.
We have thousands of years of living civilization. So I'm not talking about only scientific advancement that we made, the kind of knowledge we created is very good. But more importantly for me, why to look into that civilizational heritage I have, or my reservoir of knowledge that is created from that, is for wisdom. We have the wisdom which has created from trial and error methods of thousands of years. So that comes called wisdom. Wisdom is today necessary in the days of so-called artificially created ideas. So wisdom will be the key to survival in future. Knowledge is there. You download anything. Just now you can download whatever you want to. Nuclear science, you can know nuclear science.
Right.
In no time. How to make atom bomb, you can know within no time. But using atom bomb, using nuclear weapon should be decided by wisdom. So knowledge is always there, pervasive, available at no cost.
Right.
And at a push of a button. Or not nowadays, you don't even push button, push
Just
thing.
tap on the screen.
Yeah, you get it. But that's not enough. You cannot survive on knowledge. You can survive on wisdom.
Right.
And that's why India's future should be guided by the vision of wisdom that we accumulated. And that's why we see this idea of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam was born several thousand years ago. When there was nothing like globalization. And there was nobody knew that there's going to be COVID after 1,000 years. And what did WHO said in COVID? No one is safe unless everybody is safe.
Right.
That means you make person even in Africa or even in remote Antarctica safe, then only we'll be safe.
Right.
That is what is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We thought about. So this is the wisdom. This is not come out of science. WHO is talk about science. That's knowledge.
Right.
But we talked from this whole idea, the globalization, from economic perspective is a knowledge-based idea. But we talked about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam from not knowledge-based idea. It was wisdom-based, wisdom-derived idea. So future of Bharat will be driven by wisdom. So we should never forget that I'm not saying we are wiser than others, but we have learned from experiences of thousands of years of trial and error. We have got this something within us which is for others. That's what we are doing in yoga. We are not saying, please, every time you do yoga asana, pay me royalty, right?
Right.
Intellectual property. I have given you yoga knowledge. Prime Minister said it's a World Yoga Day. Let everybody enjoy it. So that's what wisdom of ours. We like to give it to all others, not for a price, but to avoid paying price for being irrational.
Right.
And that's what we should try to do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me, sir, today. I think I have taken some really good insights from this interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
ये था बात भारत की का ये खास एपिसोड जिसमें सुरेश प्रभु जी ने अपने अनुभव और विचार हमारे साथ शेयर किए। हमने इनसे पावर और वाटर सेक्टर्स के चैलेंजेस, ग्लोबल फोरम्स में भारत के रोल और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट के लिए उनकी सोच के बारे में जाना। ये विचार भारत के विकास के लिए नए रास्ते दिखाते हैं। अगले एपिसोड में हम एक बार फिर मिलेंगे एक नए मेहमान के साथ। तब तक देखते रहिए बात भारत की। धन्यवाद।